everybody. How's it going? Welcome back. Sorry we missed you all last week. We were busy preparing for a show. Chase and I, if you don't know, we're in a band together called Saving Shirley, in which he plays the drums and I play guitar. And we were cramming rehearsals last week to prepare for this show. But man,
that's putting it lightly.
Oh, right. But dude, it was so much fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
It's fun to learn a lot of music in a very short period of time like that.
It is.
It was difficult and nerve-wracking in a way, a little bit.
It was.
But I would say overall the end product was satisfactory.
Yeah, I was happy with it.
Yeah.
I was happy with how it turned out. Me too. Everything looks good. And I've been working, if you've probably noticed that the podcast studio looks just a little bit different. I have taken down most of the curtains now to brighten it up, make it a little more interesting so it's just not a black drab behind us.
And now people can see us driving by.
I know. We can be like, hey.
What's up?
Hey. They can. I'm sure it's really bright outside this room.
Yeah, I think it is. I think people might know where we're at now.
They may. Oh, man. So much going on.
There is a ton going on. But before we get started, I want to say one thing.
Yeah. Go for it.
I've got
an
itch to scratch.
You got a bone
to pick. Okay.
A bone to pick.
I've been debating saying anything about this for a while now. And I want to tread lightly because in light of what we've all went through here and as a country, I think, in the last, between, Hurricane Helene and all this, it's been very heartening to see the amount of cooperation and the amount of division that has kind of just evaporated in this community. I was really hoping that we could make a habit out of that because after the last couple of years, there's been some pretty divisive stuff going on around here in the last
100%.
few years. I mean, we were embroiled in some of it.
Yeah, we were.
Well, a lot of it, actually.
Yeah.
And it was just really heartening to me to see that the community's really come together.
Mm-hmm.
And I witnessed something on New Year's Eve in town here that really rubbed me the wrong way, especially in light of all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop short of saying this person's name or the organization that they work for.
Yeah.
But let's just say that she is a very prominent figure, if not the most prominent figure in a very local organization that we're all familiar with here.
Mm-hmm.
And I witnessed this individual spit water in the face of another individual that had just informed her that he was Ralph Heiss's nephew. It was purely politically motivated. There was alcohol involved.
Sure.
So it was New Year's. Everybody was having a good time.
Up till that point, anyway.
Up till that point, everything was great. I mean, everything was great. Everybody behaving themselves. There was a ride service afterwards. Nobody had to drive home after drinking. It was great. Phenomenal. But that incident really rubbed me the wrong way. And I honestly, Josh, I feel like if I didn't say something about it, I just can't. I can't not say something about it, especially how tone deaf something like that is in the light of the last few months.
Yeah.
You know who you are. I've tried to contact you, and I received no response. And I'm doing the nice thing by being at least somewhat
anonymous, but
shaded with who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there were other people witnessed it. And the other thing that really disappointed me is talking with the victim of this, because let's just say it like it is. That's assault in the eyes of the law.
That's assault, yeah.
This person wouldn't have and didn't do anything because he's a nice guy. But when you're taking petty political shit and doing something as offensive as that, like in my book, like honest to God, if you spit on me, that's a death sentence. Like,
yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That's gonna
like just
that leads to fisticuffs.
Yeah, and you know who you are, and you know who you owe an apology to, and I would suggest that you do it. That's all I wanted to say, and I'll leave it at that. But I think we need to maintain as a community the type of unity and the type of togetherness that we have all participated in the last few months. You saw boundaries, political boundaries completely erased. You saw, with churches, denominational boundaries completely erased. I mean, you had Amish people working alongside Baptists, Methodists, Catholics. I mean, none of that stuff mattered.
Building tiny homes just for people to get kicked out of later, you know?
Right, exactly. But I just...
Well, if you remember the same...
And especially as a leader of an organization.
Yeah, this same phenomenon happened when COVID, when it first hit in early 2020. Mm-hmm. All of the political stuff vanished for a brief moment. And it does with any kind of like really scary disaster until we can suss out what's happening. And then once we suss out what's happening, it comes back with a vengeance.
I know.
And it's like it's intensified by its absence. I don't know.
I think you're right. I don't know why it is. But it's like people have been holding in.
Yeah.
Or something. Because, and this is a good transition to what we're going to talk about next. Like, you see it now. Trump's taking office. And buddy, we are back to the same exact playbook.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
That was a Nazi salute. It's just... part of me wants to be like, as a libertarian, look at this. I just want to be like, dude, you guys didn't learn the lesson the last time?
No.
No. It's happening. It's inevitable.
I was listening to Bill Maher this evening on the way home from work, and his guest, I forgot his guest's name, but he did the same thing. He was like, they were talking about, why Trump won, and he was like, well, Trump won because America hates woke, and Bill was like, yeah, and he was like, America hates inflation, and Bill was like, yeah, and he was like, America hates trans people, and Bill was like, what? And then he was like, America hates black women, and he was like, dude, you clearly didn't learn anything from the election. People are sick of that, but they're doubling down.
Right.
And it's not even it is the left, but it's the establishment left are doubling down.
Well, it's right back to that identity politics thing.
It is. And that's what lost them the election. And you know what? At this point, whatever, man. Whatever.
Do it. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. I'm quite frankly, again, I'm not a right-wing guy. I'm not a conservative. I'm a libertarian. But I'm tired of trying to tell lefties, like, what you're doing wrong.
Right now...
I feel like I've done more of that than...
Right now, libertarian is tantamount to right wing. Anything that is within a millimeter of the progressives
Donald Trump,
is right wing. It's insane. Even moderates. Well, I mean, you saw this in the what I call the Summer of Love, the riots in 2020, when Antifa was rioting everywhere. You saw it spray painted. I saw several pictures at different places, and it said liberals get the bullet too. So this is not...
It's not just lefty. It's way far progressive.
Communists.
Yeah.
That was then of course there was a hammer and sickle, spray painted with that message. Right. But the whole thing to me is bonkers. It's just completely bonkers because moderates, that should be your key demo. That should be who you go after is your moderates, because those are the ones like
that
myself,
decide the election.
That decide the election. I don't vote based on party. I vote based on policy.
Yeah.
And the left has done nothing to win me over.
Yeah.
So if the left produces a candidate that is a populist, then I'm all ears.
Yeah. At this point, anything, and this is right in line with my libertarian sensibilities, anything that cuts the size and scope of government that eats up my liberties, I'm against it.
Well, they're even saying it out loud now. They're like, populism bad. Why? What's wrong with the elites ruling the world? I'm serious.
I
And it's
know.
like,
It's crazy.
what?
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. I don't think you guys understand what you're...
They do. They do. They're just that out of touch and that tone. What's wrong with the elites running the world? Well, it would be different if it was the elites who had earned it, and it's the elites in terms of merit. But no, it's people who have grabbed power who are clutching onto it and refuse to let it go. The Bushes, the Cheneys, the Obamas, all of your establishment.
Well, and I think, I was hoping, and I do think there's still a semblance of this. I was hoping that this would be more. You've got a real I think for the first time in a long time, Donald Trump built a coalition for basically.
He did.
The first time. The only thing I've ever seen in my life with politically that kind of moved in the way that he did with that coalition was like Obama. The Obama coalition was another like.
It was. I voted for Obama.
Yeah.
I voted for Obama because I was like, I'm sick of the wars. I'm sick of George Bush. I voted for Obama. What did I get? I got more war.
Yeah. And I think
way more war.
I think that's what people are tired of.
Yes.
It's like, now you've got.
Well, that's what I'm tired of.
This happened since the last time we did a podcast. You've got a ceasefire in Gaza. Mm-hmm. You've got a refreshed effort to try to make peace between Ukraine and Russia. Which I honestly think will probably happen.
I think it will too.
You've got, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the executive orders. Ross Ulbricht is out of jail. Thank God.
Dude, I know. All the guy did was start a website.
Yeah, I know.
And he was serving 2 life sentences for the actions of other people. Mm-hmm. That's insane. That's bonkers.
Insane. And, I've never been like a card-carrying libertarian, but if you know anything about like the liberty movement, his mom is like huge in that circle. Mm-hmm. Like I've watched her on a few different podcasts and interviews that she's done, and man, she is like tirelessly worked to get that kid out of jail.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that right there, as a libertarian, like, that's just nothing but the abuse of state power.
Oh, yeah.
Like, against some poor kid who just happened to be good at, coding, and he creates a website.
I gotta say something here, because this is gonna get brought up in the comments, I'm sure.
Sure.
All right, because you just said you're not a card-carrying member libertarian, and then you said as a libertarian.
I've always said I'm a small L libertarian.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Make the distinction.
The only problem I have with the organization that is the Libertarian Party is that, and the reason that I'm hesitant to jump on that bandwagon, I feel better about it now that like that whole Mises Caucus thing happened with Dave Smith and some of those guys, and was it Angela McArdle, I think is the head of the Libertarian. She was part of that. I like her a lot better. But in the past, like, libertarians, you're having conversations that are just like philosophical conversations, when what you need to start having is policy conversations. If you want to be legit.
They were more in line maybe with like anarchists.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, they would have workshops on whether like preteens should be able to prostitute themselves. And it's like, why are we... Okay, I get liberty, but there has to be like law and order also, and protection of the people. Like they would be stupid conversations like that are just completely philosophical in nature and have nothing to do with actual policy. So that's the reason I say it. I've always said I'm a small L libertarian. Okay. So
I just had to clarify that for the cut, because that will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you watching from my back.
Oh yeah.
But I just think the whole thing with Ross is just a complete abuse of that. They literally decided, we're going to make an example out of this kid.
They did. And look, a lot of what happened and went on Silk Road was abhorrent.
Oh,
it absolutely
1,000%.
But it wasn't the kid that did it. All he did was start a website that in its inception was supposed to be a marketplace for people to exchange goods and services using cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Now, I will say that they did try to throw some crazy charges at him, like that he was trying to put a hit out on somebody or something like that.
Yeah.
But reeked of like one of those things where they're trying to like literally frame the guy to get him for everything else.
But I don't think they actually charged him with that, did they?
No, I don't think that it never even rose to where they
stuck.
could charge him for it. So
there was no evidence
bottom
of
line is he was convicted of starting a website and convicted of 2 life sentences for starting a website.
I wonder how many of the entities on the Silk Road who are engaging in this behavior were feds.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it reeks of. Like, the whole thing reeked of that.
Like, I know. And I'm actually happy with the pardons. I'm happy with that one. I'm happy with all the January 6ers being pardoned.
I will say I might disagree with you slightly there. Like, the nonviolent ones, 100%. 100%. People that really engaged in like the actual rabble rousing and the few clashes where there were photos taken and people hurt, I would have probably preferred those stick or maybe commute their sentences instead of full pardons.
Yeah, I could see that. So here's my thoughts on this. The reason I feel like a full pardon, well, first of all, he said he was going to do it and he kept his word.
Yeah. Same thing with Ross Ulbricht. He went to the Libertarian Convention and said he was going to. In fact, he only said he was going to commute it.
Yeah,
but he ended up giving him a full pardon.
So that is good. He kept his word.
Yeah,
he kept his word. To me, the J6ers, and yeah, if you engaged in any kind of rabble rousing, if you engaged in violence, if you engaged in illegal activity, you should be held accountable. 100%.
Yeah.
What happened was with those people was purely politically motivated.
Oh, 100%.
The sentences that they were given were politically motivated, and they were used to set an example. That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the first time that we've had an assault on the Capitol. In fact, it wasn't long ago you had the opposite end of the aisle do the exact same thing, and they brought weapons. They brought AR-15s, and it was over Roe v. Wade. Did you know that? Yeah. They brought AR-15s. Where's the news media there? Where's the publicity? Where's the jail set? Where are they being sent basically to Gitmo, put in solitary confinement for 15, 20 years of sentencing? Like, the sentences were so heavy-handed. If they had actually sentenced these people, what's the word I'm looking for? Appropriately? Yeah. It would be different. It would be different, and I would be like, yeah, pardon's a little much.
Well, I think what the point that I think Trump's trying to hit on is ending the weaponization of the justice system in any form.
In any capacity.
Even if it's just like you give them a sentence that is completely not in line with the crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that goes on a lot too. Like with Ross. I mean, like he got convicted of making Silk Road.
Yes.
That was then used for some awful shit.
Yeah.
Sure. But all you convicted him of, all you were able to get him of in a grand jury, I guess it would have been a grand jury, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All they got him on was making a website.
Yeah.
And gave him 2 life sentences.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and you got people engaging in riots. Again, bad.
Right.
Not good. Being put in solitary confinement for years on end. Even before trials. In federal prisons. That's insane. That's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And again, you have to look at it in the sense of do you want to weaponize the state against people? Because let me tell you something.
Yes,
you'd feel a whole lot different if it was you in those shoes.
Absolutely. And that's been my whole problem this whole time with a lot of what's going on. It's like, okay, well, you have the establishments now. You've captured the establishments. What happens when the pendulum swings the opposite direction? You don't have power anymore. If you set that precedent, that's a bad precedent to set. That's why I don't like the Luigi Mangione being praised as a hero in all circles that I see. For executing that CEO. Yeah, the healthcare system in America is absolutely just awful. It's terrible.
But guess who also fucked that up? The government.
The government. The government and the free market, the government and corporations both are it. That's one thing.
Well, it is.
That's one thing, and I've got some opinions there.
Right.
But
it is. You're right. But also, what it is really is the unholy union between the two, and that would have never happened if government was ran the way it was supposed to be ran. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I don't think healthcare is one of those things that could be purely profit driven. It can't be. It can't be. It has to be.
I feel you on that.
It has to be regulated. It has to be regulated. But that's a totally different conversation.
To what extent is
debatable.
Right.
But it has to be regulated. But anyway, my point is, killing the CEO of United Healthcare, what did that accomplish? First of all,
right.
What did that really do for your cause? Mm. And second of all, this kind of vigilantism is all fun and games when you think you're the good guy, but what happens when you're the bad guy?
Yep. It's very, very true.
What happens when someone like this kid thinks you're the problem? They're going to walk up behind you, whoever you are, and shoot you in the morning and kill you on your way to work. And another thing, it's like, where does that end? Okay, you took out the CEO of United Healthcare. Well, where does that end? Does that make anybody who works for United culpable? Are they now targets? See, where does it end?
That's the thing. Is those are those types of questions that once you head down that road,
yeah,
there's no turning back. There's justification for whatever.
Yeah, you can justify anything you want.
Yeah.
So vigilantism, bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Really
and look,
bad.
I'm pissed. I mean, right now, I'll just say it. I have a personal bone to pick with insurance companies because they stopped covering a medicine that I take, and now I have to pay $1,300 a month for as of January 1st of this year.
That's rough.
And it's a medicine I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, got a bone to pick with them. That doesn't mean I'm going to go find the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield and,
blow his
brains out in the middle of the street.
Right.
I'm pissed about it, but there are other ways to deal with it.
Right. Exactly.
But then again, I'm not a murderous psychopath. So
Vivek.
Vivek is out. Noah, bring up the article, please. The Guardian reports Vivek Ramaswamy quits Doge cost-cutting program, leaving Musk in charge. Donald Trump's much vaunted but ill-defined new Department of Government Efficiency Doge program lost one of its leaders hours after the new president took office on Monday, as Vivek Ramaswamy bowed out of the government cost-cutting task force, leaving Elon Musk in sole charge. I don't like the way that's worded. It should be solely in charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ramaswamy's exit came as he reportedly plans to run for Ohio governor. Trump chose Ramaswamy to lead Doge, a non-governmental organization, alongside Musk in November. It leaves Musk the world's richest man in sole charge, which will trouble some given, as he said, at least $2 trillion could be cut from federal spending. Musk had made it known he wanted Ramaswamy out of Doge in recent days. Politico reported the situation apparently sparked after the pair clashed over tech industry's ability to hire foreign-born workers.
So this goes back to the whole HB1 or H-1B visas and all that conversation that was happening before.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy played a critical role in helping us create Doge, Anna Kelly, a spokesperson for the commission, said in a statement. He intends to run for elected office soon, which requires him to remain outside of Doge based on the structure that we announced today. We thank him immensely for his contributions over the past 2 months and expect him to play a vital role in making America great again. Ramaswamy posted on X, a social media platform formerly known as Twitter, that now owned by Musk. It was my honor, quote, "It was my honor to help support the creation of Doge. I'm confident that Elon and team will succeed in streamlining the government. I'll have more to say very soon about my future plans in Ohio. Most importantly, we're all in to help President Trump make America great again." So yeah, he's out. I like Vivek.
I do too.
I like him. I actually like him better than Musk, I think.
Yeah, he's certainly he's more of a
He's more of a people person.
Yeah.
He's more charismatic.
Yeah.
Musk is kind of just like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, dude, it's so cringe. I love the things that he does with SpaceX, and I love a lot of his like, don't take no bullshit, kind of
Yeah, I do too.
rhetoric.
But it's just I have to tell you, man. As a father of two autistic children,
Yeah,
I don't. I think some people find this very taboo to talk about
oh for sure,
because they're not sure. Well, I can talk about it because I have
Right.
two children who are on the spectrum,
right.
and I'll just tell you that if you were familiar with that as I was,
Right.
you see it. Just
Oh no, I do.
and
see it.
he said, I
Yeah.
mean, I know you did
Yeah.
tell. You're
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I know you. I'm not saying you don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just-
no, I absolutely
It's
see
just
it. in Musk.
I think I view Elon Musk in a different light than a lot of people do, just because it's so apparent to me. Like,
Right.
that guy's on the spectrum. Like,
Oh, for sure.
100%.
For sure.
100%. And he said as much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned that he was the first person on the spectrum to host SNL when he was on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of his little coming out nod to it, I think, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But things like that with the Nazi salute. I'm telling you right now, that was just his very odd way of trying to be celebratory.
It was.
I don't think that was a Nazi salute. Okay?
I don't think. No, I don't. I mean, he is pretty pro-Israel.
Yeah.
Like the whole administration, and that's the funny thing. Like the whole administration is so pro-Israel. How could you even begin to call them a Nazi?
That's what I don't
It's
understand.
almost like they forget what Nazis really were.
Right. I don't. Again, it's back to the same old stuff. It's like call him a Nazi and whatever.
I know.
But
All you have to do is just wave,
Excuse
and
me.
you're doing a Roman salute. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't. Every time somebody throws up their hand, you can't be like Nazi. Like, that's not the way it works.
I mean,
Like,
you can, but it's the boy that cried wolf. They've cried Nazi so long and so much that no one. I can't take it seriously anymore.
I can't either.
and
it
now,
just-
now you have actual Nazis. There are real Nazis in
Yeah.
the world, and it's like you may start to see a resurgence of some of this, and it's not going to be taken seriously.
I know. That's my fear.
That scares me.
Yeah, it scares me too. And I see some very smart people that I know posting about this. And let me explain to you.
Words have
That-
meaning.
Yeah, words have meaning, and that person's autistic.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Nothing matters in politics except calling the other person a Nazi.
Right, it doesn't.
Or a communist, whichever one.
And for people who want to call me out on that, and what I mean by that is there are certain mannerisms and certain kind of public awkwardness, and especially with like even Elon, you would think this guy is just he does everything or whatever, but yeah, I mean, I think he does get somewhat nervous, like especially in front of big crowds and things like that. I think what you're seeing is a lot of his social anxiety. That's for people who are genuinely on the spectrum. That is not their strong suit. It's
I
not
watched the full clip in its full context, and you could tell that it was just an awkward, weird gesture.
I know, and I don't see how you come away with that. Like, Nazi. That was like the last thing that I thought when I watched that.
Well, that's because we don't think he's a Nazi, but
Right.
there's a huge swath of the population that does. They already had that preconceived notion. So when they see a screen grab of him doing that, they think, that just reinforces their preconceived notion.
I know, and I just
Because we all have this bias, and it's
it's confirmation bias.
confirmation bias. Yeah, it is.
Straight up
Yeah,
confirmation bias.
straight up. It is.
But
It's a fallacy.
But I do like Vivek. I hate to see him go.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think a lot of him. He in terms of sort of tilting libertarian, he was a lot of that. You know?
Those are two big personalities, though. I could see how there could be some clash between.
That's what I thought from the very beginning. Is that this is.
Those are some big personalities with some big ideas, and that would be.
And like we said before, like, look, I'm going to give this a fair shake. As a libertarian, me and Josh both said that we voted for Trump.
Yep.
As a libertarian, it heartens me to see that he came through with the promise on Russ. Mm-hmm. That a lot of the, just promises that he made all along the way that he made.
I just like that he's making good on his promises.
He's making good.
Yeah, I like that.
And it seems that there's a direction. It's to cut, to end the weapon. And he said it 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Whoever's controlling his PR deal and speech deal, they've done a very good job of driving home message. We're going to secure the border. We're going to end the weaponization of the justice system. And basically everything he's done, and there's a few more, but everything he's done has kind of been right in line with that.
It has.
And he's coming to North Carolina tomorrow. So
I heard that. Where? Do we know?
I was told, and I have no way to confirm or deny this, but I was told that he's coming into Asheville, apparently going to take a helicopter tour, and I was told supposedly that he's going to land somewhere
in Western North Carolina.
In here, not just look at Asheville, but like probably here, because
County.
Mitchell, Yancey, Avery County.
We should probably be cameras ready. Just saying.
We probably should.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Now we have mobile stuff that we can take out in the field.
There you go.
And do filter. We can't live stream with it yet, but coming soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon. We do have some field stuff now.
Well, I'm interested to see if nothing else, even if it's just a helicopter tour and go back and land at Asheville.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's going to be heavily publicized because right now the media is following him like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's every move is being looked at, and just the fact that he's coming here and putting it back in the news cycle will be a good thing.
It will. It will. I watched a really interesting video today. A journalist. I'd never seen this guy before. I don't remember his name, but he has a pretty decently sized YouTube channel. And to be fair, he's on the right. I disagree with a lot of what he's about, but he went to California. He flew out to L.A. and was just interviewing everybody on the street, talking about the fires. And man, I think we may see California start to flip, even your more urban areas. After this fire, I think that was a real wake-up call for a lot of people, and they truly saw what they voted for and who they voted for.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know, what sort of representation this is to California as a whole, but when I was out there, we went to a birthday party.
Yeah.
Mostly Hispanic family. I mean, a lot of people are Hispanic out there, so that's
sure.
Not really saying anything one way or the other, but just from talking to everybody, they weren't happy.
No.
Most of them said they didn't picture themselves dying in California. Mm-hmm. Most of them were, I heard a lot of conversation about the money that had been spent on the homeless problem and it hadn't really done anything. I heard a lot of pro-Trump conversation. Mm-hmm. Just to be 100% honest with you, which quite honestly surprised me.
You. Well, this guy, what I noticed, it was he interviewed everybody, and he talked to a lot of people who were very anti-Trump. But it was so funny. It's like they really, you could tell they really wanted to criticize Newsom. But they would, and then they would be like, but he's done a good job fighting Trump. And they would always throw in a caveat. It's like he's completely failed us. He's ruined our state, but he's anti-Trump, so it's okay.
Is that really your standard of like
right?
Like from what I can tell, I'll just tell you here, like our new governor, seems kind of. Quite honestly, refreshing to have somebody who has more of a personality than like a paper bag.
I like him.
And Roy Cooper, I don't know that he was really that consequential at the end of the day. But
Right.
but he was just pretty dry and not really. I mean, but you see Josh Stein already.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he's
like
like
Josh
working
Stein.
in houses.
Yeah.
Like he came out here and was like working with like somebody
like
trying to rebuild a house. I mean, that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah. I
You know?
like him.
So hey, good on
He's
him.
a Democrat.
Oh God.
Oh Lord.
See, it's like
I know.
look, I'm not just playing like
No, I know.
things because of party politics.
No.
It's like you
Dude,
got to
screw
judge
party politics.
Exactly. You judge somebody by what the fruit that they do is. If you're and that's all Trump I think has to do.
Yes.
I would be happy as a libertarian leaner. I would be happy. I'm already happy. I'm over the moon that Russ is out. A lot of the other things I'm good with. And just do what's right for the country. That's what my dad always says, and I come back to that a lot. Like if you'll just do what's right for the average American, populist. Hello.
Yep.
Do what's right for the average American. The results will speak for themselves. You know,
They will.
it's true.
They absolutely will. The whole thing it's wild. And I to be fair, I have kind of been not on purpose, but maybe kind of on purpose, ignoring politics largely since the hurricane. Because after the hurricane, it was just like, it's just so much noise. And again, with the hurricane, there was so much that got politicized like instantly after everything kind of calmed down.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention then. I couldn't. If I heard any more about a lithium mine,
Dude, I know. I know.
And that was all right wing driven.
I know.
Shit that I could not. I was like, oh my God, guys.
So that makes me wonder. Okay, so we lived through all the nonsense from our disaster from the hurricane, and we saw firsthand the amount of bull crap that's being spewed online. That made me question everything that I'm being told from everywhere. I'm like, what is real? I think we had this conversation last time. I was like, I don't know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what's real anymore. Because now I'm like, all right, well, the information we're getting about the wildfires, what's real and what's not.
Yeah, because we were living
Yeah.
through this thing.
Yeah.
And you would go online when you finally could
When you
get your
finally
phone
got
to work
TikTok or-
back or
yeah.
whatever. You go through and you're looking at it and you're like,
That's not right. What?
wait a minute, I live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
people talking about their boots being ate off with acid, and it's
Right.
like, look, it's bad enough. You don't got to make up shit.
Exactly.
Like, trust me, I open my curtain and look, and there it is, and it's
Yeah.
awful. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to tell me that that there's acid in the water to know that it's bad. You know, but it does make you. You look at that stuff with the fire, and you're like,
What's real? What's real? What's real? I don't know. I don't know what's real.
and then you know it started. It's very similar in a way. Like the first thing, well, they had a reservoir that was drained. I heard, well, they drained it because there was budget cuts, and then I heard that they had drained it to make repairs right before this happened.
Right.
And that's two very different things.
Very different.
Like if you drained it to make a repair and it just happened to happen at the
That
exact wrong time,
sucks,
that
but-
sucks. But that's nobody's wrongdoing.
Right.
That's trying to make sure the thing works correctly.
I've heard that. I've heard budget cuts. I've heard fireman layoffs, firefighter layoffs. I've heard the
DEI politics and
DEI
firefighters.
politics.
I don't need to know
Yeah.
if that's true.
I did see actually. So funny enough, I did see a commercial and it just popped up in my YouTube feed for some reason, and it was a LAPD or LA Fire Department one, but it was a DEI commercial, and this person was saying that they were trying to recruit people of color because if someone shows up for an emergency, you want them to look like you. That's what they said, and it wasn't parody. This was real, and I was just like, what? If someone shows up to an emergency, I want them to be competent. I don't give a fuck what they look like.
I don't give a rat's ass whether you're black, white,
No, just
yellow,
don't let
whatever.
me die.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if
No.
you're a
Who
trans.
cares?
I don't care if
Just
you're gay.
Don't let me die.
Please, I'm just giving you, my life is in your hands. Please don't let me die.
Get me to the hospital and get me my antivenom.
Yeah. Exactly. Imagine you come up to someone, they're dying, and they're like, "Oh my God, don't touch me!" Yeah, what are you talking about, bro? That has never happened in the history of humankind. That has probably never happened.
It's maybe like once,
Right?
But I don't know. So, but then to get back to our point, I have no idea what's real. I've heard that. I've heard there was no water in the fire hydrants. There was actually a lot of people on this interview video saying that on both sides. But I did hear there was a lot of anti-Trump and a lot of pro. It was pretty balanced. I will say that.
Right.
And he didn't selectively edit. He let the interviews play out in their entirety. He was pretty fair. He let everybody speak their minds. And it was just funny to me that one political side really, you could tell they really wanted to criticize Newsom, but they always had to add in a Trump caveat. Right. And I'm like, why do you have to bring that into everything?
I know. I don't get it. You'd think that I don't care who the president is. Somebody stop the fire.
Yeah.
I could give two shits what else is happening. Can we stop the fire? Can we stop the fire?
I did see they're getting $700. That was the number that was agreed on, I guess, by the Biden administration. I mean, that's all we got, and most people didn't get that. And that's shitty. That's really shitty.
We'll see what Trump does. I think he's got an opportunity to hear.
He does.
To, in a very deep red place, to make good on helping this place.
And he does in a very deep blues place.
And you've got an opportunity in a deep blue. And for God's sake, man, just do what's the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't make it a political thing.
Yeah.
Don't try to go after. You don't have to go after nobody now.
No.
You can't be president again.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be on the campaign trail. Just do the right thing.
Yep.
Just straight down the line. That's all you got to do. That's all anybody wants of you.
Yep.
Just help places rebuild regardless of their economic status, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless,
Yep.
Just do it.
100%.
And legalize weed. That'd
probably
be another good thing you could do.
He probably will.
I don't see how you're going to get around it in the next few years. Like,
if anything, it'll be decriminalized at a federal level. And that seems like one thing that he would be like, I'm going to leave it up to the states. Just like he did with abortion and every other.
And that would be consistent. At least you're consistent doing that.
Sure. And I'm fine with that. Leave it up to the states.
Yeah.
Leave it up to the states. I don't want top-down government control on a federal level with anything.
No, nothing.
I don't.
I think what heartens me too is I feel like for the first time in my life, there's like a real chance to drastically reduce government as a whole.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And that will I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
That will benefit all of us.
I agree completely. It's not going to be, I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. It's not going to be seamless.
Yeah. No, it won't be. And I think there's some really, like just on a practical, like, it's been so long. Like how about Doge government efficiency, right?
Yeah.
But so far, all they've really talked about is just like cutting stuff. Well, that's one part of it for sure. And trust me, I can give you a laundry list of things that I would like to see cut. But the other thing you have to do is to do things like, there's a lot of European countries, and like I noticed this even back in the late aughts, like living in Australia, dude, their social services model, like, well, not the model as a whole, but just the way that it functions, like the function of their social services was so much more efficient than ours.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of countries in Europe now are going to like an app. You literally have which is weird to me. Like, I think, and maybe that's the reason I think that would be weird to a lot of governments, but like, just imagine, you're already carrying around a license. You have to have a license.
Right.
Anyway, what if there was an app where you just go and pay for your license and
it's on your phone?
And it's on your phone.
You don't have to visit.
And along with the rest of everything, any of your government, any of your interactions with the government would just all be on one app. The government app.
The government app.
Government app.
App.gov.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's the thing. Is like I think there's some practical things that you could do just to streamline the efficiency of things that are going to exist, that are not going to get cut. You know? I'd like to see some of that too. So
yeah,
but What else is going on here?
I don't know. I am on a positive note. I'm seeing a lot of finally a lot of progress as far as like cleanup.
Yeah,
Outside cleanup.
I've noticed.
Yep,
I've noticed a lot of that. Those gooseneck dump trailers are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Which, by the way, if you want to sell one when you guys are done with it, call me because I'm in the market for one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for my business. Yeah,
Nice,
for the construction business. I'd like to have me one of those. I figured it'd be a good time to maybe, yeah, be a good time to maybe invest in one of those after somebody that bought one and is done with it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to have one.
For sure.
Weather has been
oh, man.
ice cold.
So cold. So cold. I am not a fan of this. I don't like it. I don't like anything about it. I am definitely a warm weather kind of guy.
Me
definitely. Too. And I've had a little bit of a weight loss, and I am freezing constantly now. I've never been this cold in my entire life, Chase.
You lost a little insulation, buddy.
Dude, this week, this is what I've worn to work. And I work inside most of the time.
Right.
Like, well, there's a part of the lab that's called the pilot plant. We have to go out into there, and it's basically, there's some heat, but it's like a big garage.
So, yeah, it's
probably...
Have you ever been in a metal garage?
It's probably 50 degrees-ish in there,
right.
Whatever, 40, 50 degrees in there. But anyway, my work pants underneath, jogging pants, 2 pairs of socks, long sleeve shirt, a hoodie, and my coat, and insulated gloves, and I'm still froze to death.
I've been layering up pretty good too. I tell you, when my thermostat went out in my truck like 2 weeks ago.
Oh no!
So my heat's not working.
Oh dude!
I finally got so tired. I mean, it'll get just off the end residual engine heat. It gets enough to like knock the chill off a little bit, but it ain't warm by any means. Especially not when it's 5 degrees outside.
And it has been. Like every morning I've driven to, as a matter of fact, yesterday when I went to work, it was 1.
Yeah,
1 degree.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my car said.
Yeah. I just went and got one of those buddy heaters.
Oh, God.
Put it in
Oh, my Lord.
I'm pretty sure that little accident I had out at Laura's put that. And you can't. I'm the same way Jimmy was with his truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking forever.
Yeah.
To get and there's a million cars being repaired right now because trees fell on them and all that other stuff, limbs and all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's like even when I got the insurance check, it's another month before I can get into the auto body shop.
Sure.
So registration's out on my truck too. I can't get it inspected because the light's busted out. So what do you do?
What do you do?
I'm like, if I get pulled over, I'm just gonna look. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm trying to get it fixed.
Right.
I can't get it fixed. I need my truck. Like, sorry, but I guess I just outed myself. So if you're the cops out there, sorry.
They're gonna be after you now.
They're gonna be after me now. I'm trying not to drive it. Only at work. That's all I'm trying to do.
Man, I don't know. Life's crazy now. Life's so different.
I know.
So different.
You can just have a buddy hater.
Yeah.
Whenever and wherever you want.
You can.
I've got enough of them buddy haters to where we could just.
Yeah.
I got 1 million of them, and I handed 1 million of them out to people.
Yeah.
I gave one to like basically everybody I knew, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe except for you, because you went and stocked up the second everything.
Hell yeah, I did. The second everything went down, I went out and I got a big propane heater. I stocked up on cylinders. I was like, I am not doing this. Not doing this.
Josh was back up and running. He was like, hell no, we're not living like this. We get some Starlink.
Yep. Starlink generator that powered my whole house. Dude, the first night that we had that generator going, powering my whole house, I will never forget the elation I felt to have internet and power at the same time. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, man, living through that was something else. It really was. It changes the way that you think about things.
I will never be caught in that situation again.
I know.
I will be ready.
When you don't realize too, like, I don't think anybody thought that like there was going to be no communication.
No.
Like, zero.
No.
Like, we're not talking about like you can only use your phone. We're talking about like nothing
it was all
worked.
down.
Everything was completely messed up.
Makes me wonder, those repeater towers. Why don't they bury the cable going to those?
They need to do that. That would be. We talked about that once before.
Yep.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I know it's going to cost more. I know it's more complicated. But look, we build skyscrapers, okay?
Right.
We accomplish insane feats of engineering. You're telling me we can't figure out how to bury some cable?
You'd think.
We're lazy
Yeah.
and tight. That's what it
I
boils down to.
suppose a cell phone tower is probably a logistical nightmare, though, when it comes to, like, think about how many people's property you're having to go over to get a cable up there to begin with, and then you talk about drilling on that property and accessing it. I mean, God, and a lot of times around here, they're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with that, but at the same time, if it means, like, you have, like, actual communications when you have an emergency,
Yeah.
something like that happens, I mean, I think that's probably worth it, you know?
If those repeater towers are wired together in sequence, like that's how they work.
Right.
It's not like the signal just bounces from tower to tower.
Oh, I know.
It's a wired connection to a repeater tower. Think of it as a mesh router or something.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like it creates a full-on network.
Off topic, but there is something I want to correct the record on from last podcast.
Oh, yeah.
When I was giving teachers down the road, which, by the way, I wasn't really giving teachers down the road. I have nothing against teachers. I have nothing but the utmost respect for teachers. But I said, on the podcast, teachers get, they only work 10 months out of the year or whatever. I didn't know this, and I was made aware of this. The teachers, at least here anyway, do not get paid through the summer months. And that still doesn't change my point, because my point was there's trade-offs for everything.
Right.
And that is a trade-off.
Well, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
I didn't think they got paid either, so.
Yeah. I thought they
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the sentiment's the same, though,
It is. It is.
Glad we're back in school, but god dang, we got to have a discussion about that sometime, too.
Yep. I don't know the answer to that one.
And it's a hard problem.
It is.
It's a hard problem, but good grief, man. Kids got to go to school,
They do.
They got to go to school, baby.
They got to go to school, but the roads are absolutely destroyed from the hurricane. So you throw inclement weather on top of that.
Yeah.
But the remote
And I'm not
days-
going to be the guy that's like, we need to go to school.
No.
No matter, because, like, I understand that some people are, like, down a literal, like...
Oh, well, you've got Pigeon Roost. You got the north end of the county that's
Yeah.
awful. And
I mean, I just hate... It's just a shame that is a very small percentage of the students that then takes the other probably 70-80% of students out of school. And that's a hard problem. I get it. And you want to be fair to everybody. It's one of those situations where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You are.
And then you got the whole remote work problem, which probably wasn't that much of a problem during COVID. But now everything's destroyed. I mean, everybody that I know that lives out anywhere that's not really close to sound, you still don't have.
Yeah, I have
internet
Starlink,
back.
but
Yeah.
I don't have my wired connection back.
And not everybody can afford a Starlink.
Exactly.
Starlink, at the very minimum, is $400, and then
$120 a month on top of that.
right.
It's not cheap.
No, it's not. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and
There are.
So, but it'd be interesting to get. I thought about reaching out to Chad, and maybe letting him come on and.
Yeah,
Sort of like explain their whole process, because I know there's a process to it,
Sure.
But or what maybe we can talk about some what could be done and what the challenges are. I'd be interested to know, just have the full. I'd like to know exactly what they have to deal with.
Exactly,
because it's easy for me to sit here and say, well, just send them to school. Well, then if something happens, you're
liable.
You're liable for it. I mean, like, that's a lot. It's a lot. I get it, but it's frustrating. But
it is. It is incredibly frustrating, and it's frustrating because it's our children's future. It's not just because we don't want our kids in the house.
Right.
Far from it.
Exactly.
They have to be made into productive members of society, and they have to be given an education.
And it just sucks that, like, it's happened right after all this COVID stuff, which that's a whole other bag of worms. That whether or not it was justified or not is in question, but. It just sucks. Kids need to have consistency. It makes everything, I think too, it makes everything so difficult from a parenting point of view, especially for younger kids.
Yeah.
Because younger kids especially thrive. I mean, quite honestly, I thrive off of having a schedule.
Yeah.
Like having a routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's hard. When
children crave structure. They have to have
exactly. And it makes it harder to be a parent. So it's hard on everybody. And I don't know what the answer is, but I'd be interested to find out.
I would too. Maybe that's a conversation we have.
Yeah.
We'll reach out. Reach out to some people.
That's a good idea.
Let's wrap it up there. You want to?
Yep. Works for me.
Everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out when you do that. Leave us a comment and tell us how wrong we are and
how much you
hate us, and we're terrible people and we're bigots and all of that nonsense, please, because it's engagement nonetheless. And I love reading what a terrible person I am. That's great. I'll be honest with you. I'll be totally honest, and I do not read the comments anymore. I don't.
I try not to either.
I don't.
I do sometimes, but I try not to.
I don't. I've not read the comments in a while. No. I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Have it out down there.
Yep. Y'all have it out.
Yeah.
Call us out for whatever, but we're human.
That's right.
And if, I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Y'all, thank you so much. See you next time.
Peace.